Hello and welcome to my channel. Uh, if you're new here, welcome, and I hope you like all the nonsense that you see. If you're a repeat listener slash viewer or a subscriber, I hope all the nonsense that you're just listening to me ramble on eventually gets some sort of, I guess, growth or expansion for you. That being said, this video is going to be dedicated to a comment from one of my other videos. The user being unknown dash CD7RX. I'll post a screenshot here. Um, Recommending Dicelings. So congratulations, you get to be the first video in a new series that I'm dubbing I'm going to regret this. I know, clickbaity, I'm sorry. But at the same time, this is going to be a series dedicated to me checking out new things that I'm not familiar with that most definitely add to my list of I kind of want it or I really want it, and now it's on my shopping list of nonsense. So I think the I'm going to regret this is kind of fitting. Um, Today's subject, or this video subject, is going to be Dicelings. Um, Now, what are Dicelings? Dicelings are little creatures that fold themselves up or transform, or however you want to label it, into dice. Um, this is from Hasbro, and they're specifically creatures from Dungeons and Dragons. Um, Now, when I saw the comment, I was like, you know what, I'm going to pin that. I'm going to take a look at it and kind of sort it out, see what information I can get. Um, and from what I can tell, there's not a whole lot of these figures. Um, but at the same time, they're still kind of cool. They're nice little way of getting Dungeons and Dragons in a creatures in like a toy form without it just being a really expensive figure or a mini that you really can't do much with. It's kind of a neat thing, and I definitely will be adding them to my list. More specifically, I will be adding at least the Black Owlbear to my list. Um, but anyway, so going down the list and doing a little bit of research, I'm not seeing a metric ton of varieties. I don't know if I'm missing something or if I'm not looking deep enough into it. But even just doing a basic shopping search, I'm finding the very same consistent set of figures that I have written down here. So I'm going to list those out real quick and what colors there are. And to that point, I'm going to include the pictures so that way I can take my time explaining or describing these creatures a little bit. I'm not going to go into full lore of the creatures, um, mostly because I'm not familiar with what all these creatures can do, but I will comment on kind of the designs of them as well. So, first on the creature list, well, no, we'll go with alphabetical. So, the first in alphabetical order is the Beholder. Beholders are kind of like a floating head style creature with normally eye stalks attached to them, rather than if you were thinking like Medusa, where it has the active snakes. In this case, it's a floating head with different eye stalks that have. I want to say the rules had a. They each had their own different magical attack per eye stalk. I could be wrong. That's what I remember. But this creature is available in orange and blue. Up next is going to be the Displacer Beast. Uh, the Displacer Beast comes in a clear blue and a black. And when you look at them, they're six legged, large feline type creatures with some sort of tentacles or something along those lines. If I recall correctly, I honestly should have looked up a little bit of information before recording this. They have something to do with the shadows. Could be wrong on that. I'm not going to say I know definitively, but again, kind of a neat design. And the two that I saw available were in clear blue and black, and it, I like the clear blue, but at the same time, I have a caution with clear plastic of anything because it tends to be a more fragile and more brittle material, which means too much pressure, you snap a piece, or you break it, or um, it'll it just won't be as solid of a connection, or if it's too tight, it'll be so overly tight that if you move it, it'll crack. Um, so just a warning with that. I do like that it's in clear blue and black. That's kind of a neat little nod. And heck, I might pick up one of these just to get a feel for them and see how they feel in hand. Um, but little tangent aside. Next is the dragons. So there's three different dragons. There's one that's in red, one that's in black, and one that's white. The red and black ones had names, and I'm probably going to butcher the red one's name. It's Thimbershod? Thimberchod? Yeah, that, please don't kill me for butchering that. Um, and then the black one is Raycor. Racker? Raycor? Uh, don't kill me for the pronunciations. Anyway, the white one was unnamed, or at least the packaging just says White Dragon. Um, but kind of a nifty little design. Up next is the Mimic. The Mimic comes in brown. Now, for anybody who's not familiar with a Mimic, it's a creature that takes on the form of just about anything in range of what it can see or something along those lines. So, for all I know, my keyboard could be a Mimic, my desk could be a Mimic, my bottle of Advil could be a Mimic. Just a nifty little thing. And normally in Dungeons and Dragons, you'll see them as like chests or treasure chests or something along those lines. I say normally it's possible for them to be just about anything, but like I said, the more common theme that you'll see is that they're chests. That's just the meme that comes with mimics more often than not is that they're a chest. Um, and finally, we have an owlbear. So again, not familiar with all the lore and what the abilities are. Owlbear is kind of how it looks, how it sounds. It's a owl bear hybrid that is the distinct features is it looks more like it has the head of an owl but with the body of a bear, and it still has feathers in some aspects depending on the artist or how it's depicted, but it has features of both creatures. um, in this case it comes available in a white and a black coloring. So there's two different um, two different toys available for that one. Um, Other than that, I couldn't find any more. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'm just missing something. I kind of wanted to do this in reaction to my first comment, and if I find more comments suggesting things, my plan is to pin them, write down what they're recommending or suggesting, and then sharing that. Right. Like I said, I want this to be a community, and I want to grow in that and share that kind of the love for these nonsensical things like the Dicelings. I think it's a cool design. I think there's plenty of insane creatures that, if they were to continue this line, could be amazing. I'd love to see a zombie made out of it, or a skeleton. Maybe even do like class based um, dice. I don't know. Or if you're familiar with D&D, the first creature that I ever like truly it stuck to my mind was it's a Tarask or a Tarasque, depending on how you pronounce it. I could be butchering it, but those things were a cool idea to me when I first opened like a monster guide, and I could see that as a feature in this, especially if they went with like a jumbo size or like a plushie that was rather large that you can turn into this simple form. I think that would be kind of fun too. Um, but yeah, that's about it. Again, shout out to unknown dash CD7RX. Um, you get to be highlighted in the first video of this series of me exploring things that I'm not familiar with. Um, if you like the video, feel free to click the like button or leave a comment. From what I understand, YouTube it goes off of interaction with videos as well, not just if you watch it. Um, so if you want to help me out, please feel free to do that. Otherwise, if you like the nonsense that I'm doing with this, feel free to subscribe. And that's about it. Bye.